Good morning, fellow Big Brother 27 feed watchers and viewers. Back to talk about the Big Brother house and all that's transpired over the past 24 hours. Yesterday morning, Vince and Morgan continued to have their victim off, with Morgan even waking Vince up at one point yesterday morning to tell him how bad she feels to have to put him in the position that he's now in. This is after, of course, I talked about yesterday how all the night before yesterday, Vince was trying to make Morgan feel bad about his game now and the position she put him in. Eventually, things actually got kind of heated yesterday morning when Vince started raising his voice with frustrations about how now he is in a much worse position because even Lauren would put him up on the block. I also think the sleep deprivation probably was catching up to them and added to Vince escalating the argument. Or maybe these two wannabe undercover lovers feel just so passionate about each other that they love to argue with each other. I don't know, but they were definitely going at it a little more intense than usual yesterday morning. At the same time that they were arguing and it was getting a little louder, Kelly and Lauren were outside playing chess. Well, outside the door, upstairs playing chess. And when Lauren heard the arguing, she ran downstairs to cry because her paranoia of being on the block for the first time made her think they were arguing because Morgan is now pitching to vote Lauren out this week. Now, at that point in the day, Morgan was still promising to Vince that Lauren was staying this week, though at one point during the morning, Morgan did soft launch to Vince that if Lauren is targeting him now, or at least putting him up on the block, and she's already targeting Morgan, maybe it's not the worst idea to send her home this week so Morgan and Vince don't end up on the block together. Vince said at one point, if we send Lauren home, you took over my HOH. Morgan says, no, I didn't. Vince said, this wasn't anything that I wanted to happen. None of these were my decisions other than me making the decision. Morgan said, it's going to be a tie, so you will get to decide. And if you still want to, if you're still HOH, you will get to decide. She basically said she didn't want to hear this from Vince. But yeah, you heard Vince right there, and that was an exact quote. He's this week's HOH, and he tried to say the decisions other than, him actually making the decision weren't his own. Like, what does that even mean? So in the same sentence, Vince is saying Morgan made his decisions, but then he actually made the final decision. Because yes, he made the decision. It is Vince's decisions, whether he was talked into it or not. I think what maybe he was trying to say, the perception is that it is Morgan's decision, but he didn't say that. Instead, this is the type of game Vince has played this year, is that he tries to make it seem like he's just such a pushover in hopes that it doesn't make it look like all the blood is on his hands. But then in the same breath, he will complain that everyone is not going to respect his move. They're going to respect it from somebody else. They're going to respect Morgan this time for the move. I just don't know how Vince expected Morgan to react to that statement other than him trying to win the victim off, I guess. They then sort of made up after, I guess. I think Vince just wanted Morgan to acknowledge the position that she put him in with Lauren, now possibly nominate him going forward. And then Lauren and Vince had one of their conversations, always one of my least favorite conversations on the feeds. Lauren, I think, was trying herself to get the championship for the Ultimate Victim Championship off that they are having. Lauren's whole pitch to Vince is while she's mad at him for nominating her, she is not mad, but she will be mad at him if Kelly goes home this week instead of Keanu. This is Lauren trying to be smart, I will say, and keep numbers for her this week, but it's risky to do with her ass up on the block too. And frankly, it's very bold for a player with absolutely no social skills like Lauren, which I'll get into here in a second. Lauren also called Vince out on putting Lauren up and choosing the person he thought would forgive him this week. She's saying that he was thinking he could just put Lauren up and she would forgive him. So maybe Ava telling Lauren about Vince's woe is me act being an act actually stuck in Lauren's head this time. Vince is trying to stay victim, though, of course, in this victim off day. The whole 24 hours or more have been by now acting like Lauren is more loyal to Kelly over him anyway. I think that is Vince trying to get the heat off of him once again. Here's some of their conversation I took note of. Lauren said, "So you chose to hurt the person that would forgive you, which is why you can't be nice and win this game." Vince said, "You don't forgive me, though." Lauren said that she did. Vince said, "You told me you would put me on the block over Kelly." Lauren said, "I never told you I would put you on the block over Kelly." Vince then went on to explain that he caved because he's a pushover as usual, and now he will lose Lauren. Lauren said, "Do you see where I'm coming from, though? I'm going to forgive you because that's the person I am. But if I do forgive you, that makes everything okay. Morgan gets what she wants because she was threatening all this stuff. I did the same threats, but I'm going to put Lauren up because she is going to forgive me." That's what Lauren is trying to explain to Vince. That's how she sees Vince's move this week. Vince said, "I didn't know you were going to forgive me," which may be true, maybe not. I don't know. But this is when Lauren tried to soft threaten Vince that Callie needs to stay over Keanu this week. Lauren said, "If you send Callie out this week, I will be very upset. This will have been the hardest week when it could have been one of the best weeks. I'm not going to move on or budge on it because that's what I think." Vince said he would consider it, but Vince is starting to feel like Callie is coming between them now. Lauren says that Callie is not. Lauren went on to say, "If I stay and you vote for Keanu to stay, that is really fucking up my game. If you want to make it up to me, you have to keep Callie over Keanu." Lauren also said, "If you vote to keep the person that is coming after me because I saved you, I would be very upset. You would lose me, actually. You haven't lost me yet because there is a way that this works out the best way that I could have wanted it to, which is Keanu goes home." So yeah, that was Lauren being very threatening to Vince that this is the only way she won't be mad at Vince is if Callie stays and Keanu goes this week. While Lauren was soft threatening Vince yesterday, Ashley thought Vince and Morgan's fight was ridiculous. Ashley does not understand why Vince is upset with Morgan now because what's done is done already. And he did, in fact, renom Lauren himself. It is, in fact, Vince's decision. That is how Ashley is seeing it. Morgan then told Ashley the biggest threat on the block is Lauren. Callie is annoying and she should go, but we can beat her in the finals. Ashley said, "I'm not keeping Callie over Lauren." Morgan said, "I understand. I'm just saying in general, for my game, it makes sense to keep Callie." Ashley agreed with Morgan that for her game, it might be best to keep Callie. In this talk with Ashley, though, I think Morgan definitely realizes that for her game, Lauren going this week might be for the best, although she has likely realized this all along. I think Morgan has been quite the gamer. This week has showed that once again. While she was definitely all about wanting Vince to pick her over Lauren this week, if it hurt Vince's game and it helped hers in the process, I feel like she thinks that was even better. She is definitely thinking about the end game. She's definitely thinking about votes. But the question is, are the votes there for Lauren to actually go this week? Well, you see, Lauren pushing hard for Kelly to stay to Vince has made Vince question a whole lot because despite Vince's boneheaded decisions and ultra sloppy gameplay, he is still a gamer. And it's so obvious that Lauren just wants numbers to stay for herself. And Vince has now stated to both Morgan and Ashley that he does not want to see Lauren, Ava, and Callie running the game after this week. So I do think Vince knows that Callie needs to go over Keanu this week. Plus, Vince is always able to hook Keanu back to working with him no matter what. But the question is, what if Callie wins Blockbuster? And Vince has told both Morgan and Ashley this morning, that is something they might need to have a conversation about. So Morgan soft launching Lauren going this week to Vince might actually pull through as well. And we know how much she will play hard and how incessant she can be. So Lauren has some problems. Lauren's social capital is honestly so bad that her pushing something to someone supposed to be her number one ally might in fact get her other ally or herself voted out in response. Also, Ashley tries with Lauren, and it's just painful to watch Lauren in general. It was painful to watch her try and game talk with Ashley, try to explain her game or pitch to Ashley why Callie should stay this week. The long pauses per usual, the not being able to find the right words. It really is so bad. I commend everyone who has played with Lauren this season for not yelling at her at some point to just spit it out. Just spit it out, woman, when she is struggling to talk. Because it's like, damn, I felt bad for Ashley in that conversation. Anyway, to move on and end this video, the last thing to talk about is Keanu, who really seems to want to go to the end with Vince. I know, surprise, surprise, right? He has said if Lauren goes this week, he wants to focus on Ava and Morgan going out next. And well, I like that I don't hear that he's targeting Ashley yet. I do think it is Keanu once again proving how hard this man has gone for other men and for Vince all season long. Taking Vince to the end right now isn't the worst idea at this point if you're banking on a bitter jury. But Vince next to Keanu, if Vince can convey that Keanu has basically been his bitch all season, who has done whatever Vince wanted and stayed loyal to Vince no matter what, I mean, Vince can make it seem like he ran Keanu's game. And I do wonder if because of that, a jury might respect Vince's game over Keanu at the end. If Vince can convey that. But, yeah, all the people that comment, Keanu is the only person that deserves to win this season. I would love for one of them to explain exactly what Keanu has done that makes him the most deserving to win this season. Because winning a couple vetoes, and it was only a couple because Casey won one of them, and winning a blockbuster here or there is not a winning game to me personally, not at all. So I would love a Keanu stan to really explain in the comments why Keanu is most deserving to win when he's made bad reads all season, the wrong decisions all season, voted with the house wrong many times, and still always crawls back to Vince. I would just love to know if a Keanu stan could say that, preferably not Devin, my resident Keanu stan, but anyone else, please let me know. All right, I'll see y'all later or tomorrow with more Big Brother updates.